thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive. The air was wet with the smell of a passing summer rain. Thank God it was getting way too hot these past couple of days. Seems like today would be a fine one. Too bad you had to spend it at work. Well, could be worse. Yawning, rolled out of bed, slapping on the ground. Hard. Ouch! You coughed as air was pressed out of your lungs and you gasped. Stunned, you got up on all fours. This always looked so easy on the TV shows. Why did it hurt so much? Dejected, you crawled forward into your kitchen. The house you lived in was a simple single-floor house, next to the only road leading outside of home. It was the only place where rent was so cheap. Bargain, really. But still, you had needed a job, and sadly, no one offered you one. Wally didn't need a painting assistant. Eddie already had his hands full, etc. All but one man had a job for you, and that was Howdy Pillar. The green caterpillar-esque puppet man with 4 arms and 4 legs. He sure was a sight to behold. But that wasn't what made his quote-unquote job such a good opportunity. Somehow, Howdy managed to run a shop where practically all cheaper items were given away for free. If someone managed to tell him a good joke, and pay you quite well for an intern position, as he called it, but you had to do nothing, more or less. At the start of the day, you checked the shelves, took note of what needed replacing, threw away anything expired, and then gave Howdy the notes to restock. After that, you just sat in the shop's back rooms, chewing bubblegum and playing the old dusty arcade machines he had stored there. Sure, about a third of your monthly pay was spent on these things, so it wasn't like the backrooms were uncomfortable. Contrary, in fact. Even had a small kitchen aisle, a TV, and a big sofa. But it didn't change the fact that Howdy was not only running the shop perfectly on his own, but also managed to turn over a profit somehow. How did he do that? And uncovering this secret had become your goal since. And besides, any minute not spent on the arcade machines, Princess Quest, Power Drill Massacre, and Polybius meant more money in your wallet by the end of the day. You had fun turning this into a sort of secret spy mission as well, even though you were just watching your boss do his job. You were right now lying on your back on the sofa, blowing your bubblegum. Your eyes pointed towards Howdy. He was serving the Julie girl. He was buying pizza. Yawn. You watched as the caterpillar took her money and deposited it, before waving her goodbye. Seconds passed, and then the man turned around, smiling at you. "Hope you're having fun," he said. Your heart skipped a beat, and the bubblegum bubble popped. But before you could reply, he was already focusing back on the store, as Wally entered to buy new paint. You grumbled. You were thinking, deeply thinking. And then finally, an idea popped in your head. Was so obvious, really. You felt a little stupid. You waited for Wally to leave before opening your mouth. "Boss, do you have a home?" Howdy Pillar's shoulders shook like he had been hit in the back of his head. He turned to look at you, his smile as bright as ever. "I feel at home at my workplace, so, no." You narrowed your eyes, and a single droplet of sweat ran down his forehead. How often do I need to tell you to not do that?" he said. His tone was kind, only a slight hint of nervousness. But you understood why. After all, you were his natural predator. Smiling, you exposed your fangs. You weren't like other puppets in the neighborhood. Similar to Howdy, you two were more related to animals. You were a spider. You had 2 legs and 6 arms, 4 of which you always kept folded under your clothes, as they were more often than not an inconvenience. Your body's felt was a light purple, and your short hair was as black as the night. And you had 6 piercing eyes in a half-circle pattern around your face, though you didn't have as much control over your eyes as you'd liked. Your left 3 eyes closed altogether, and so did your right. You wore a white tank top and black pants. You looked away. You turned your body to sit up straight. "So you live here," you said slowly, with a devious grin. "I don't see what's wrong with that." Mockingly, you tilted your head. "What? Where do you sleep? On this sofa?" Smugly, you rubbed your hand across it, and he blushed. Howdy audibly gulped loud enough for you to hear, the metaphorical gears in his head turning. You then slowly rose from the soft leather and approached your boss. It was kind of sweet. A man dedicated to his calling, trying to make people smile while asking for their money. No, wait. He did his damnedest to not make them pay. It was difficult to accept that. The world as you saw it was selfish, and a man like him was just simply an anomaly that was intriguing to you and made your heart flutter. For so long you had watched him trying to figure him out, but in reality there was nothing, no game to be played. As it turns out, you had been playing chess with yourself, while he had simply been picking apples off a tree, waiting for him to make his turn, a turn that will never come. God, how foolish you were. Placing one hand on his chest, right above his racing heart, staring right into his eyes, you spoke. "You know, all work and no fun makes any man a dull boy. And you live like this." Your voice was filled with emotions Howdy didn't know the meaning of. The caterpillar forced his gaze away from you. You were so seductive, alluring even. It was unprofessional, the thoughts he was having right now. Oh, those delicious thoughts. He always had them when he looked at you, and that's why he rarely did it. However, he was too warm-hearted to push you away. Or more, he enjoyed being close to you, a little too much. Maybe that was clouding any judgment he could have for you. And finally, he managed to ask, "And, why do you care?" You swiped a few strands of hair out of your face, to give yourself a moment to breathe. Howdy was about to reject you, as painful as that would have been for him, too afraid of what he was feeling and what he might do to you, or you to him. You didn't know it, but you needed to act quick. And what you did surprised the both of you, as you almost lost control of your entire body. You snaked your arms out of their normal position around your waist, and with each hand you took hold of part of him. 2 to cup his face, 2 around his hips, and the last 2 his hands, holding them up, pinning him in place. "I guess you fascinate me," you said, as you pulled him closer, your lips hovering above one another. You felt his hot breath cascading over your face. His free hand now took hold of your cheeks, his thumbs gently gliding over your skin. A touch so gentle and fleeting it wouldn't even pop a bubble. With half-lidded eyes, you looked at each other. And that was when the doorbell of the shop rang, indicating someone entered. Immediately Howdy's gaze and your gaze turned to the new arrival. It was Barnaby Beagle. The blue dog was staring awkwardly at the two of you. I could come back later, alright? If I'm interrupting anything, I mean, he said, but Howdy was already letting go of your hands. No, it's fine, old chap. What can I get you? Annoyed, you puffed up your cheeks, turning around, facing the shelves, crossing your arms, as Howdy took care of the dog, before retreating into the back rooms, firing up the Polybius arcade machine. Howdy left you alone for the rest of the day, both of you too embarrassed to do or say anything. You were so engulfed in your play session that you didn't hear the two pairs of footsteps approach you from behind. By now the sun had set, and Howdy had turned the open sign from "We are open" to "Sorry, closed." Normally you would have left by now. Howdy stood behind you, breathing quietly, thinking. It was only now he realized that you actually were a lot smaller than him, especially bent over like this. Yet still, he admired your form, your beautiful body. And quickly, without thinking, he grabbed your rear, while at the same time reaching for your hips, pulling you away from the machine. Your back pressed against him. You turned your upper body to look at him. "Let's continue where we left off," he whispered into your ear. "After all, I hate leaving a service open. Come here."